Your army, my hands, and you voted, and it wasn't even close. France won the $1 challenge poll on the Sunday briefing, and now I got a box of French infantry on my painting desk. Warlord Games are backing the prize pot, and there's a tournament date in October to aim at. Here's the list, here's where the painting's at, and most importantly, here's how you get your army into the challenge. So what is the $1 challenge? If you're new to this, here's the concept. 1 box of miniatures, 500 points, build the best bolt action force you can with what's inside, paint it, play it, and if you want to go further, enter it. We're running this from now right through until the 10th of October, when in Falkirk we'll have a live event to cap off the whole thing. And this year Warlord Games have stepped up with proper prize support. 2 army boxes going to the top entries, so there's a genuine incentive to get your box open and get it painting. The rules are pretty simple. 1 box, 1 nation, 500 points, painted if you want, and I'll walk through the full rules in a moment. But first, let me tell you the story of how France ended up on my desk. So Sunday night vote at our live show on a Sunday evening, a few Sundays ago, on the WarHQ Sunday Briefing, I put 3 nations to the vote. And you had the chat, you had the poll, and you had a few minutes to make my painting life significantly more interesting. And France ran away with it, which, I'll be honest, wasn't the result I was expecting. I had America winter models penciled in, and I know that list, I know the play style, I know where the bodies are buried, but that's not how this 1 box challenge worked for me. You picked France, and once I actually started digging into the French list at 500 points, it's more interesting than I gave it credit for. Now, I was surprised, and it was really good to see the guys on the live stream chipping in and having a wee chat and choosing the French list for me. It could have gone anyway, but thank you to everyone who did vote. You made my painting bench considerably more demanding. So here's what I'm working with here. French army, we're actually 499 points, and I have 7 order dice. So to start off with, we have an officer unit over here. We've got 3 guys, all regular, and they have got submachine guns. I've equipped them with submachine guns because in the French PDF list they're free of charge, so they might as well have them, and gives them the assault rule, so tough fighters if they're in assault. So 3-man squad at 500 points could actually be useful, handy for taking objectives and things. Now, next we have our 2 compulsory choices, which are these 2 units. Now, I'm going to murder their name, but these are going to be both Senegalese tirailleurs. There's 4 rifles, 1 VB launcher, which is, excuse me, a poor man's mortar, if you like. It's got 6 inches to 18-inch range and hits like a light mortar, and they each have a light machine gun in them. And they also have the tough fighters special rule. Again, regular units, they're costing 101 points each. My officer unit at regular costs 50 points each. So I've got 2 of those, and then I've got a 3rd infantry unit here. Now they're just going to be normal infantry. They're equipped exactly the same as the tirailleurs. They're regular, they cost 95 points, light machine gun and the VB launcher. So again, I'm thinking they're a bit smaller than I would like, but they could take objectives. They've got a little bit of firepower, and they do have that indirect HE weapon. It's 20 points, but if it hits, it's well worth the 20 points. You never know, we might get a wee hit. Now, that's the infantry sections, and then we have the French artillery observer. Again, regular. I've got 3 guys. Again, submachine guns because they're free, so why wouldn't you? So he gets the special rule where he can have 2 indirect artillery strikes, could be very handy. He also could spot for the light mortar that we have coming up in just a moment. And again, like the officer unit, 3-man unit with submachine guns, could be handy for holding on to objectives. And then we have the boys anti-tank rifle over here, 2-man squad, again regular. The tournament I'm going to in October, they might have vehicles, so with the artillery observer and the light anti-tank rifle, I'm hoping they'll take care of any armoured cars, etc. Likely they won't, but keep my fingers crossed. Those 2 artillery strikes, you know, if I roll 6s on the day, I can make a mess of somebody's day. And then the last unit, my 7th unit up here, is a regular light mortar. Again, a little bit of HE. So with this army, we're hoping that the HE works, both the artillery observer and the light mortar. Because I've got the artillery spotter, he can spot for the light mortar because it's regular. That means I can keep my light mortar out of line of sight, at least until the artillery observer dies, which of course I hope he does not. And that's really what I've got. Very light, very simple. 8, 8, 16, 24... 24, 30. Yep, it's just comes in under the 30 model, just over the 30 model limit with bits from my bits box. I've used bits to be able to put in the boys anti-tank rifle and to be put in the light mortar. I robbed my bits box for those because those are allowed in the 1-box challenge. Bits box and 3D printed stuff, as long as it's not more than your box of soldiers, you're kind of good to go. And that's the army. Pretty simple. Now, here's what I like about this list. We've got 7 dice. That's about as many as you can expect to get in a 500-point list practically. So we're not going to be short of dice. There might be 1 or 2 lists with more, but not many. So we're good for dice, and we're quite flexible. We can stay back, see if we get the HE to hit. I mean, the rifle grenades, they need to be within sort of 18 inches, but we have a bit of luck on a 4x4 table, we can do that. And then we've got the relevant rules there, the army rules for the French. There's only one that's really going to affect us in this, and that's the forward artillery doctrine. Forward artillery observer unit may call in an artillery barrage twice instead of once per game. Resolve the first barrage as normal, then after the first barrage has been resolved, the observer may call in a second order, which is really good, quite powerful if it hits. If it doesn't, as I've said before, the other French army rule for the moment is highly motivated reserves. If you have inexperienced reserves, they can shed pins if they're within 12 inches of the enemy. But that doesn't affect it for this list. I don't have any inexperienced troops in it. Everybody's regular. So, kind of, if you remember one thing from this section, remember this about the French list. You can use 2 forward artillery strikes. That's going to catch people out until the new list drops very shortly, in which case I've got a feeling that rule will be changed. But until the new book comes out later on in the year, we can use that. Now, let's talk about how they're actually coming along. As you can see, I've got them in various stages. So I've got some guys with nothing on them yet. Can we get that in focus? There we go. They've got nothing on them yet. And then we have some chaps who have been undercoated. And you can see I've also based them. I like to get the bases on first and undercoated. And then the next stage up from those would be I have some guys who have had the wash put on, and the next stage after that is going to be dry brushing these guys and then adding the details. And then I have some guys that have been detailed, but they haven't been the fine details, And this is how they're going to look. They'll have a bit of a dull coat on them eventually, but going with a kind of Africa theme here rather than a European theme, or Mediterranean, definitely. Nice and easy. If you guys want me to show you how I do this Mediterranean scheme, it's very straightforward. Just pop me a message and I will let you know. So I reckon we're probably about 2/3 of the way done with this army before it's actually completed now. So the rules for the one box challenge: it has to be one box. Easy rule. You're building a 500 point bolt action, normal tournament rules, legal, so has to have an officer and 2 infantry units, and you can use your bits box and you can use 3D printed parts. It'd be great if you could get them painted. Don't worry if they're not. And we've got a deadline on this of the 10th of October when I'm going to the Art of War Blitzkrieg event, which is a 500 point event. They are allowed armour cars there, but we're not for the one box challenge, and I'm going to stick with a one box challenge where we'll have a little event there and we'll take some film. And remember, we've got those 2 army boxes from Warlord as prizes for who we think have the best entries, and you can enter your models and your stories and all the background onto the Bolt Action Bootcamp Facebook group. So look for it all there. And if you're following along with your own box, and I know that some of you are already posting progress in the bootcamp on Facebook, here's the approach I'd recommend for keeping this manageable. So the first one, tip 1, is batch paint in 2 groups. Undercoats and base coats first, and then detailing. It keeps the project moving and stops you getting bogged down. Tip 2. Pick one contrast or one wash that ties the whole army together. Consistency matters more than complexity at 500 points. And then tip 3, base before you detail. Getting the basing done early changes how you see the finished model, and it makes it slightly less fiddly. A small thing, but a big difference. The goal isn't a Golden Demon entry. It's a fully painted, table ready by the 10th of October if you can. That's the upper standard. Anything above that is a bonus. So remember, just get your models up and painted. If they aren't painted, nobody cares. Play with grey plastic. So we've got 2 ways to enter this. Pick one or do both. Option 1, drop a comment on this video right now. Tell me your nation, tell me your box. That gets you onto the list, and I'm personally replying to every entry this week. So if you've got a list question or you want a second opinion on your build, ask it in the comments and I will get back to you. Also, photographs, progress reports, that's all fantastic. And again, option 2 on this, and where the real conversation happens, join the Bolt Action Bootcamp on Facebook. The link is in the description below, and we've got a dedicated one box challenge thread running right now, and people are posting progress photos, asking questions, sharing their lists. If you want to be part of this properly, well, that's where to be. And why not like and subscribe while you're at it to be instantly updated when the painting updates and practice game videos drop in this series. The more people following along, the better the community build becomes. So over the coming weeks, I'll be documenting every stage of this, the painting progress, the practice games at 500 points, any rules questions that come out of the bootcamp, and the final prep before October. Remember, you can keep up with us on the Sunday review, live at 8:30 on YouTube. The one box challenge tournament is the 10th of October in Falkirk. Entry details will follow below, and if you're in UK and want to bring your box army to the table for real, start planning now. Warlord Games have made it worth your while. Right, that's the French list, that's where the painting is at, and that's how you get involved. So take care guys, talk to you soon, and show me your stuff.